Welcome back. Okay, and today I wanted to show you some basic stuff that I've had to spend over the last week or so. This channel, this project, this lifestyle does cost money, and we do get the Patron money, and a lot of you have asked in the past what do you do with it, what do you buy with it, what does that go towards. So really I'm going to show you today some of the now and again that we get. During the course of last week, managed to annihilate my Bosch electric drill for the fourth time, yeah. Just using it, nothing. It's not a fuse, it kind of, it slowed down, started smelling funny, and then the smoke escaped. So it's had 3 sets of brushes, and I think the state has gone in it now. So honestly, Penny bought me that for my 40th birthday, so that's 12 years old nearly now, and it's done an awful lot of work. It really has. Some things can be salvaged. The twist chuck come off it because that was an accessory, and I think the plug, but whatever. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm just going to keep it because I might be able to rebuild it. I don't think the stators are that expensive. If I had to get another drill, obviously, as you can see what we do in the garage here, I do a lot with tools, and I'm always using a drill. So I went out and bought a new drill, which I've had to do. There's no choice. I didn't go and get a fancy one. Let me show you what I've got. I do love Bosch tools, seriously do. So I went and bought a Bosch Professional electric drill with a plug. Now this was this was £71 as opposed to 140 quid for the next best battery operated. Now you can get the Ryobi kit, which is where you buy the base battery pack and you get loads of different heads. You can have a drill and a sander and a nibbler and all the different stuff that goes on the battery pack, but that stuff is so expensive to get into. You have to first of all buy the first one with its battery pack, then you can buy the heads later. So yeah, it's a big investment, but it was about £150 for the next best thing after this, and that's Bosch Professional. Bosch tools, in my opinion, have always been the best. Bosch, DeWalt, that sort of thing, just proper quality. There's some great things with this. It's got a steel adjustable chuck which goes out to 13mm, so you can run those big drill bits, the big 13mm drill bits. It's slow, fast drive, and with the hammer action can be used as an impact gun, so that is a pretty good general purpose all-round tool. Much more ergonomic. It's a little bit heavier than the last one, but it is plastic, but it's a bit less plasticky. But look, this is not a review on Bosch tools. I'm just letting you know I bought that. That was the first thing. Just replacing a broken tool that I've had 12 years of faithful use at. The next thing, which I just had to get because I've got this belly pan build I'm going to be using, I'm going to be boring some big holes in it. As you've seen in the past videos, I've always used cone cutters to cut holes, but that only goes out to 20mm, and I want some much bigger holes in that. So I bought a set of these hole cutters. Useful tool, you can cut holes in steel with them. Just quickly explained, you might have seen these before. You get a mandrel, you get the hole cutting doodah, and that all fits together, and it just goes in your drill, your new Bosch drill, and you can cut holes accurately without all the grief. And the nice thing is you can cut holes in stainless steel with that, stainless steel sheet. and that will make a nice job. And these replacements for those are not massively expensive. Again, the set was £23. Now, there's a couple of different brands. The Hilka brand was £46. This is the Clark Clark contractor brand. So it's kind of Machine Mart's own brand. And again, I'm not advertising for them, but exactly half the price for exactly the same tools. £23 for that kit as opposed to 46 for the first branded one. Sorry, I hate doing what it is, but you know what I mean. Also needed some more weld gas running through that. Now, yeah, I know I should use a big bottle, and yeah, I know you can get it cheap from the local publican and doodah, but you can't get this. A lot of you say go to the local pub and get yourself a standard O2 bottle. Well, that's fine if you want to weld with O2, but I weld with a 50-50 O2 argon mix, and that is the best gas to weld MIG with sheet metal. It gives a beautiful smooth weld, very controllable, less likely to burn through. It's a better shield gas, 50-50 argon and CO2 mix, and you can't get that from your local publican. So I'm going to use that for now. One of those probably lasts me, I use two or three of those a year, honestly, and that's £16, £15.59, not expensive really. I've got the big argon bottle there. When that's run out, I'll get that filled with this, and then I'll have a massive one. I've already got the bottle. I paid £65 for the bottle, so I own it, and the regulator and everything else when the argon gas itself. And if I'm, I think when this one runs out, perhaps I'll get that refilled with this stuff, whatever. And finally, with the compressor, I've got various tools with it, various air tools, from compressor to, I've got the compressor itself. I've got windy gun, air drill, spray gun, tire inflator, all various tools. When you get a compressor, you have those. And there's two different sizes of air valve. Compressor comes with all that stuff. The Clark stuff you buy comes with all that. So I just bought some adapters. Quite simply, that is, that's an adapter for an airline. I bought a new airline. Hang on. Right, that's an adapter that will go into the current compressor. So all I have to do is screw that baby. Where are we? Right, there it is. Right, just a little bit of common thinking here. Hang on. Spring loaded, as you can see. Right, I've bought that, which is the large adapter which goes into the compressor, and it produces the female slim size. So if I plug that into the compressor, I can use those tools. Just an adapter, but that for the compressor and that for the other end of the airline, so I can actually, run it out the other end. That lot was £26 again. So during the course of this week, this is how it goes. I've gone out and spent £127 on tools and stuff. And I had a voucher as well for £50 from a very, very, very kindly viewer. You know who you are, sir. Thank you very much for that. And that was for services rendered and whatnot. So with a £50 voucher, I spent £71 on that lot, and it never ends. Every month, I'm doing that 2 or 3 times. And it's not always the drill. It's just something else. It'll be the regulator goes. It'll be, the spanners. Here's one. 10mm opening wrench. You're using that a lot. That will go from 10mm to 10.5mm in 3 or 4 months if you're using it all the time, and that's no good because it will slip off things, so you throw them away and you buy a new one, and there's fiver, so it's on and on and on. You're always spending money on tools, and anybody who's a mechanic, any technicians watching, you'll know the same thing. You're always spending money on tools. It's just how it goes. Anyway, shut up talking. Let's get back to this build. Welcome back to Delboy's garage. Right, let's give you a look at this bike. I'll take that off there a minute. Now, last instalment we saw this bolted in nicely on the front with these, lots of different suggestions, lots of people thinking of, as usual, better ways to do things, and I'm very happy with that. One comment in particular is what you're going to do about this, because it looks like one of them. So, yeah, I will be doing with that. That's not good like that. What I probably do, I imagine, is pick up this line here. So come up like that. So come up there, and just come off like that, just to round it, just to bring that line in with that, but I'll do it later. You know, you can't uncut a cut and all that. Anyway, today's task is to get this back end bolted in, and you saw last time we got this fantastically convenient set of actually threaded holes in the frame. Great stuff, and that can go great on there, but that will mean a big ugly one of them. Now I'm going to cover that up. You'll see what I'm going to do with that. So ultimately that will be disguised, but this will be obvious. So I don't want one of them or anything that looks like it in this area. I want that to look just like it is. So I want to hide this bracket down here, and easy enough to just run it down like that. But I've also got the other issue of, you know, come around this side, all this space around here. As you can see, there's nowhere, because I've had to cut this out for the stand for clearance. So I've got nothing to bolt to here. So what I'm going to do instead is create a bracket that goes right across underneath to do both. Many of you suggested this. Let's come back around. Wedge for your angle. So what I'm going to do instead is come on underneath and bring a bracket off that mount point there, and I think there's a couple the other side, and then come underneath the bike with a bracket, like a thick heavyweight box section metal bracket, similar to the one I did on the General, and then I can bolt this up with one bolt underneath to a central bracket. I've got to clear the exhaust, I've got to clear all this short linkage and mess. It's got to go conveniently in a place where it's not in the way, and in that sense I don't want to have to take all this off and the exhaust off to get to it, so it's got to be correctly designed so it follows the right path, so it's not in anything's way. So today's task, make a bracket that will come along, pick up a point somewhere under here like that I can then drill a single central rear mount, but that's got to be in the middle, not on the sides, either side. It doesn't need to be either side, just one mount in the middle. I mean, there's not a lot of strength at the back, that's just twanging on its front mount, so there's no weight there, as you can see, so it just needs something to hold it at the back, and as it will go across, maybe, I don't know, thinking as I go. So the first task, get this off, measure up the space I've got, and then get some bits of box section and start cutting them up. getting good. That'll do. Right, just a quick show you what I'm doing, quick explanation on that. These little scores, if you look, what they're doing is they put, let me see it, there it is. It takes about half the thickness of the metal away. This is 1.5mm thick mild steel, so it's quite chunky and it doesn't bend very easily, certainly not as sharp as I want it to. Hang on, there we go. You get a nice, perfect sharp bend. Then you just run a bead of weld along the inside, which makes them nice and strong. You get an absolute 90-degree bend like that, and you just weld along the inside of it to hold the bend, and obviously because you've cut half the thickness of the metal away. And it doesn't matter whether you score on the inside or the outside, it's of no consequence because you're going to weld on the inside to hold the two halves together, because you get a nice 90-degree radius to do that, and that forms a weakness to allow the bend to be razor sharp right along that exact line, because you can see they are slightly out by about 2-3 degrees, and that's necessary to get this bracket sort of going in the right direction it wants to go. So when it folds, it doesn't go that way, it goes that way, you know, you'll see what I mean. But there we are, that's what you do, just score along there, then you can bend it nice and solid in the vise, nice sharp bend, and then just weld it to set it. That's what we do. There you go. Nice 90-degree bend. Where you've done, where I scored that on the outside, the score line stretches. It gives that lovely sharp bend. And all you do now, strengthen it with a bead of weld along the inside of both of them. Nice bend. Who needs a folding brake? That has to be one of the best welds I've done for a long time. You're done. Right, let's give you a look at what we've done so far. Got the basic bracketing. Unplug your hole. Right, and it's a bit ugly. In fact, it's a lot ugly at the minute. But that now presents this piece of box section across the bike. Lots of clearance as you can see. Pipes nicely out of the way. Sump plug. The belly pan wants to mount, I said, about ½ an inch below the sump plug, which as it comes up, this curls upwards as it comes along, so the belly pan sheet metal curls in an upward fashion. So there's plenty of room here, and that's higher than the height of the sump plug because I want to put one more of these isolastic bushes. I'm going to put one bolt right through the centre, well, probably to the middle of the bike. Sump plugs roughly in the centre of the bike, slightly to the left of centre, so I can put a bolt here, and that will be right in the centre of the bike. Now, obviously at the moment, let's just come around the other side, I'll show you. Oops. Camera's getting a battering this week. And as you can see, this at the moment is all just sheet metal, and it's not very strong. It's kind of flexible, although actually it is pretty beef, but it's not strong enough. So I'm just going to triangulate a few of these joints in the corners here to strengthen up the flex. On the back of this, on the inside, I'm going to weld a little piece of steel just to strengthen it up. Just tack weld some steel down the inside to give that less flex, a little bit more beef. The box section obviously doesn't need any more. Box section's box section, it is what it is. Or this will get ground off, tidy up the welds a little bit. So now I've just got about an hour left of making this good, making it work. before I can drill a hole in it and put the bush through, da-de-da. And that's going to be a problem because it's double thickness and the bushes are only for sheet metal, so I'll work something out for that maybe next time. But as I said, I've got about an hour left. That works nicely. Quite like that actually. There's clearance on that, and everything seems to work. And a nice, solid, beefy bracket to mount that belly pan to. Right, let's take it off, strengthen it up a little bit, and then linish it and clean it all up. Right, let's have a look. Right, there we are. That RE, if you can see a lot really, but that's the mounting face now, but you can see more from around this side. If we come on round. Now what I did was welded, just for strength, because it's only sheet metal, I've welded a piece of tube, tack welded it all the way down, and that will get dressed in with some filler, so you can't see that. It will just look like a beefy bracket, and I'll probably straighten out that curve a little bit, I don't know. But this is the important bit there. That clears, obviously. Put a little bit of box on the back of that just to make it look a bit more beef. Might have to clearance that for the chain a bit more. It looks alright. There's a full finger width in there. That's not going to touch. Chain don't move sideways, not more than about 3 mil. Oops. Oops. Right, there we are. So that's what it looks like underneath. I said that's the mounting face right down there. That's a brace across the centre, and I've just noticed I measured it to be 2 mil clear of the short link, and that's with the wheel off the ground, although it's on, no, that don't work because it's on a paddock stand. But the short link, when you press the bike down, when you put more weight on it, that the centre of the link lifts up, so that's not a problem, and it's just touching. So I'm going to clearance this piece of tube, just cut it out a little bit so it can clear. Anyway, let's get it off so you can actually see what it looks like. I'll put you up there. Right, there we go. Just going to quickly wind this up now. 7 hours in all. It's 20 past 4 now, coming here at 9 o'clock. Don't take time to clean up. So the place looks half tidy again now, all the tools away. And there it is. That's what we did in 7 hours. I mean, look at it. It's dirty. It's just a dirty thing, isn't it? Look at it. In some ways, it's kind of beautiful as well. There's something about it. Although it's ugly, and I mean proper ugly, the welds are ugly, it's just tacked and snotted together, it's just horrid. But the only bits of it that are going to get seen by the world is that bit, which is why that looks nice, and that bit, accordingly. So that'll be the 2 mounts. You'll only see that either side, and they'll disappear on the bike. They'll be painted black anyway, so you won't really see them other than know that they're there. All the rest of it will be under the bike, out of the way. That section there is for the exhaust. That's where the big exhaust, in fact it goes that way. So if you're looking to the bike from behind, so you're looking up behind the bike, the exhaust comes up through there, and the short link for the shock comes down the back there, which is why that's kind of staggered like that, and I couldn't put it straight across. But it's there, it's absolutely bespoke made. That's one of those words, bespoke, that gets bandied around far too much, like the word awesome. You know, it's overused and doesn't mean much, but the word bespoke, you hear a dealer has put a brown man bag and a brown seat on a Triumph, and it's now a bespoke, one-of-a-kind bobber. You know, honestly, get a grip. That is bespoke. Bespoke simply means something that is absolutely made a one-of-a-kind thing for a specific job, and there isn't another one like it. And that took 7 hours to create that. It's one of those things as well, why if you go and look at the price of an OCC chopper or something built by West Coast Choppers or any of the guys on the TV, any chopper builder, any of the custom shops that build a bike, now you know why they're 40 grand, because that's 7 hours work. Now if you've got a fabricator, a person who's going to turn out something like that for you, you know, that's a day's work. So you'll pay 100, 200 pounds for that if you go and buy it from a custom shop, maybe even more, because what they'll do then is they'll fill all the little holes and stuff, they'll have it powder coated so it'll look yummy, they'll put their badge on it, and they'll charge maybe 400 pounds for it. There's your profit. So ultimately that's the thing. Bespoke, one-of-a-kind stuff, real genuine bespoke, one-of-a-kind parts, take time. That's why this project is still on it. We are 39 sessions on this now so far, 179 hours, just under 180 hours. And amazing, can't believe it. Can't count how much I spent on tools, £127 on tools, because none of it's really towards the build, it's just tools, it's just consumables. But to those of you who ask, where does the money go from Patron and AdSense and stuff, well that's where it is, it just wastes away, it just gets eaten by what we're doing here. Building a motorcycle is an expensive business, it truly is. Anyway, I'm going to shut up, Waffling. I think hopefully you've enjoyed that. Next one, I'm just going to fill in the little holes and drill the thread through there. I'm going to put a solid captive thread through there, so that'll be quite a cool bit of fun. And after that, it'll just be a case of make it look nice and smooth, sand it back, get a bit of filler going on in there, and then paint it. So once that's done, then that will be a finished bespoke bracket. Okay. I'll leave you with all the friends. Thank you for watching. Take it right safe, and I'll see you next time.